So let's scroll to the bottom of our file here. After our curly brace is closed, so our class there is closed and finished, we are going to make extensions of our weather view so we can keep our code clean for our table view data source and delegate, and collection view data source and delegate. So we say extension, and the extension will be on our current class. So I can copy this and paste it here. And then we want this extension to conform to a protocol of UI TableView data source, and we put comma UI TableView delegate. So whatever we have to do with our TableView data source and delegates will be here. And then I will make another extension to my weather view, and this is going to conform to UI collection view data source. Okay, and this part will be holding our collection view function. So let's start with our table view. For any table view to work, minimum you need two functions which are required. So we say table view, and actually we can say number of rows in section, so it will tell us how many rows you want in your table view for specific section. And then we need the cell for row at index path. So it needs to understand what type of cell it has to return. And here comes in our specific cell that we have designed together, which is our weather table view cell there. So let's first take care of our number of rows in our section. So we need some kind of array that is going to hold this information here, how many for specific information for our weather. So it's going to be date, the cloud, the icon, and the temperature. So let's go on top here, and under the vars we are going to create a few arrays that are going to hold our information. Because for current weather we have our current weather object, because this is only one current weather, which is top area here. But for our hourly weather and for our weekly weather, we have to have weekly weather 6 objects, hourly weather 24 objects. So we need an array to hold them. So I'm going to create variables, and the first one I'm going to call weekly weather forecast data. And this is going to be an array of weekly weather forecast, and we're going to instantiate with an empty array. Then we need another variable, and this is going to be called daily weather forecast data. And this is going to be holding objects of hourly weather forecast, and it's going to be an empty array. And for our weather information here, we need something to provide here, and we will have an array of weather info data, and this is going to be an array of weather infos that we have created, and again this is going to be an empty array. So we have three data source, 3 arrays that will provide as a data source for our collection views. So we have 2 collection views and 1 table view. So for our table view we need this weekly weather forecast, so we can check how many rows our weekly weather forecast array has inside of it, and this will be the number of rows we need. So we count the items we have in our array. So I'm going to say return, and we are accessing our weekly weather forecast data array and count the number of objects we have inside. And then for our cell, we are going to create a cell, because here we promised that we are going to return a TableView cell. So in order to return it, we are going to create it. So we say cell is equals, and we access our TableView because we want to reuse our cells, because our cell, the blueprint, the visual interface is like same, we just put different data inside it. So we say TableView DQ reusable cell with identifier for index path. And identifier is cell, because this is what we called our cell when we were setting up here, remember? So whatever you have there, it should be the same thing. And for index path, we just pass the specific index path here. And we need to specify that this cell that we are returning is not a standard TableView cell, but this is a weather TableView cell, because our weather TableView cell has all this cool user interface design that we did and the class that will generate this function to generate our cell. So we need to tell our TableView that this is a weather TableView cell and not a standard TableView cell. Then I can say return cell. So our compiler will not complain anymore. But before we can return, we need to generate the cell. So we need to call our cell and call our function generate cell, and we have this forecast, and we can access specific items in our forecast array. So we say weekly forecast data, and then we access the index path dot row. So we get the number of item out of it. And then this will generate a cell with this weekly forecast data object, and it will return a cell to us. So we are done with our TableView extension here. Now we can work on our collection view, because here we have two collection views, and both of them are data source our current view. So we need to check which collection view we are talking about first before we do anything. Because table view we had only one, we could just say that any table view. But for collection view we have two of them. Again, the collection view has minimum of two functions that are required to use them, and they are in fact called the same way, number of rows in section. So we say number of rows in section, and this time we are going to return how many objects we have in these arrays, because daily and weather info, both of them are used, and depending on what collection view we are talking about, we are going to return different number. So we are going to check if, and we access the collection view from here that we receive. So we say if collection view is equals to hourly collection view, then we are going to say return, and we access our daily weather forecast data.count. Else, if it's not our hourly collection view, since we have only two collection views, it's a weather info data. So if it's not this one, it's this one. So we say a return, and then we access weather info data.count. Simple as that. And then we have cell for collection view. Let's see, UI table view. No, this is not. Collection view. This is the one we need, that returns UI collection view cell. So again, we need to check which collection view we are talking about. So I'm going to say if collection view is equals to our hourly collection view, and then we have else statement. So if it's our hourly collection view, we want to create a cell which is equals to, and we access our collection view to DQ our reusable cell with identifier for index path. our identifier is a cell again, because this is what I called it. Index path, we just pass our index path, and I need to specify that this is as forecast collection view cell, because this is the top one and we want to have this forecast collection view cell used here. Then I'm going to say cell dot generate cell, and we need to provide a source of data here. So we access our daily forecast, weather forecast data, and the specific item we need is index path dot row. And finally, we need to return our cell, because we have promised here to return a collection view cell. Otherwise, in our else, I'm going to copy and paste this, but instead of forecast collection view here, it's gonna be info collection view cell, and the cell name is cell as well, so we don't need to change this here. The only thing we need to change is the generate cell function. So again, it's called generate cell, but this time we need a weather info. So I need to access my weather info data, index path dot row, in order to feed my generate cell function with correct data here, so it can display my cell. So it looks like we have completed everything we need to display our information. In our next lecture, we can try our user interface to see if it works properly.